This video is about one of the most infamous people in history, who is hated by many, called the Austrian painter, who was extremely patriotic and made his country great, but by very, very, very wrong methods. Adolf Hitler. What's up everyone, welcome to another video. Today we have a special guest over here. He's one of my best friends. We study in the same school. His name is Mr. Aadvik. And today we're going to talk about Adolf Hitler because he knows a lot about Hitler. So Aadvik, you take it from now.
So today we're going to explain the rise of Adolf Hitler, how he died, and probably at the last, if we get some time, we're going to get into some theories of his death. So see, Adolf Hitler's rise to power was not sudden. It was a result of long chain of political failures, economic disasters, and social anger. See, here I would like to talk about that Hitler thought that the Jewish people betrayed him. That joke that was famously quoted by him. You know that? The stab and the back myth.
No.
Backstab myth. See, so what happened? He thought that the Jewish people spread propaganda against World War One, German Empire's World War One war, and he thought that they were liable for it. So he started torturing them. So first of all, Germany, he also had a good reason for that because he hated the Treaty of Versailles, which caused huge reparation payments, loss of territory, and his army was reduced to 100,000 soldiers. So the new Weimar Republic was weak and unpopular. So here we get into that president thingy, where he famously, there's a joke, he told the president, "Make me chancellor, or these people will make me chancellor." So yeah, due to hyperinflation in 1923, which ruined the economy, prices skyrocketed. Money became worthless, middle class lost all the savings. Social anger and desperation increased extremist support. So what do you think? Why the people chose Adolf Hitler? Were these reasons, or there was something else in the German people?
Well, to simplify it, I think it's because Hitler was like, I'm gonna fix everything, and at that time, Germany was like in ruins after World War One.
Yeah, see, I also think that, but I personally think that he thought of creating a hierarchy system where Aryans were at the top and Jews at the bottom. So he just wanted to create that system as he hated the Jews because of that incident. So yeah, I think that the people liked him, especially Aryans, because of that.
Yup.
So Hitler joined the German Worker Party (DPA) in 1919. He made very powerful speeches at this time. One of his friends watched the speeches. Even good judges, lawyers felt for him in his speeches. He renamed the party to the Nazi Party. Here the term Nazi begins, bro. In 1920. But the turning point in history, bro.
Yeah. Bro,
he introduced...
But could you tell us something about Hitler's childhood and how he was a soldier in World War One?
See, Hitler's childhood was mostly spent in Austria. I'm not going to go into detail because it is very detailed and complicated. So basically, his father married his niece, and then they had Adolf Hitler and his bigger brother, who died of, I think, smallpox. I am not sure. Let me just check that. Hitler had several siblings, but many died young. Yes, only Paul, his younger sister, had survived into adulthood. So he only had one sibling. All have died. He also had a older brother who died of measles, whom he loved very much. His father was an Austrian supporter, but Hitler was very patriotic to Germany. That's the weird part. So as a child, Hitler was not a poor student. Of course, he did well in primary school, but in secondary school, his grades dropped. He disliked discipline. He argued with the teachers. He refused to follow the father's wishes to become a civil servant. So here we get into the part where Hitler was going to art school. The famous lines. Hitler wanted to be an artist, not a government officer. This is the point where he rises to power. Also, Hitler loved drawing buildings, sketching landscapes, painting scenes of towns from a young age. That's a good thing, you know.
Yup.
He dreamed of getting into Venice Academy of Fine Arts. Oh, no, don't do that, bro. Don't do that ever. After his father died in 1903, he became even more determined to follow an artistic career. And his mother supported his artistic career. Okay, so now we get into the death of his mother in 1907. Hitler was only 18 when his mother died. Her death hit him extremely hard. He later said that this was the worst day of his life. Could you imagine an 18-year kid losing his mother in 1907, bro?
Yeah.
The family doctor who treated her was Jewish.
Wait, actually?
He, yeah. So here comes the controversial part of fact. Hitler always respected his anarchist came later, not from childhood events. So I think due to his family doctor was a Jewish, and he thought that the doctor did not treat his mother properly, and because she died, there is one more reason he hated Jews. This is the fact, bro.
That's interesting.
That's interesting, yeah. In 1907, he gave the exam of Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. He got rejected, and 1908, he got rejected again. The academy told him that his human figures lacked emotion, bro. Whoa, you are telling that to an 18-year-old kid who had just lost his mother, bro, and he wanted to pursue art. See, now here he said to the directors who were seeing their painting, of course, I don't know, professors maybe, he said to them, remember my name, Adolf Hitler. There he got, I think there he got the fury like, I will rule this country, I will not let Jews live, I will be great to Germany again. So now we get into his life in Venice. After failing art school, Hitler lived in Venice from 1908 to 1913. These were extremely hard years for him. You know, Shreyans, he lived in poverty, often stayed in homeless shelters where he was kicked out of some. Sold small paintings and postcards to survive. Bro, could you imagine a 18 or 19-year-old kid doing that?
Yeah.
That is so messed up, bro. In 1913, he moved to Munich, Germany, partly to avoid joining the Austrian army. See, that's where the patriotism,
Yeah.
German patriotism, bro. Like, I like that. In summary, his father was strict. He loved art, failed art, lived in poverty, picked up extreme political ideas during his young adult years that would result in something big in the future, you know. Moved to Germany where World War One later changed his life permanently. So, what are your thoughts on him till now?
Well, it's a really interesting story of his, especially from this
See,
perspective.
if he did not fail art school, I don't think Nazism would be a thing right now.
Yeah. Because then he would just become a artist.
Yeah. So, would you shed some light on after he joined what happened in World War Two to World War One to? Yeah.
Yeah, so he became a soldier in World War One for Germany, and he was pretty lucky in the army. I think a lot of gas attacks.
Yeah.
He
He
survived
survived a
them.
lot of gas attacks. He also earned the Iron Cross.
Yeah,
Top honor, bro. Top honor. Salute, bro.
yeah. But in the end, I think he got blinded by some gas, and then he had to
Yeah.
return back.
Yeah. So he returned back where in a hospital he saw the Jewish people protesting against the war because it was draining Germany's economy and many soldiers were dying. So there Hitler began feeling that, you know, we need to go against this. These people have done a lot of bad to Germany. So moving forward, I don't think if he had not hated the Jews, he would not be a big figure in Indian politics or in German politics. I said, in why did I say Indian? Why did I say Indian, bro? It was German politics. Okay. So could you shed some light on the his Nazi propaganda?
His propaganda was mainly that the Jews were the bad guys. The Jews are like one of the biggest reasons behind all the problems in Germany. And this was all because of his hate, as you said earlier, about his mom dying
Yeah.
because of a Jew doctor. And when he was in the hospital, a lot of Jews were protesting on the streets.
Yes. So basically, he hated the Jews because he thought that they were the reason that Germany lost World War I. Yeah. So continuing on, I wait. I have a question before that for you. Do you think that Hitler's propaganda was actually good for his country?
Like Hitler's propaganda, it was unethical because it was against the Jews for no concrete reason. But what Hitler did later on for his country was actually good because Germany was
Yeah.
severely weakened by World War I, and he still made it a superpower again.
So we can see like the Germany weakened, people were desperate. He entered into politics and gave his insightful speeches, I must say. So I'm gonna shed some light on his entry into his political life. So he entered politics in 1919. After World War I, Hitler still remained a soldier in the German army. The army assigned him to observe small political groups. He was also very anti-communist, you know that?
Yup. That's why he invaded USSR.
Yeah. In September 1999, he attended a meeting at the DPA, German Workers' Party. Inspired by his speaking skills, the party invited him to join. See, his speaking skills were actually decent, bro.
Nah,
I
they're
would pay,
intense.
I would literally pay a fortune to see him speak once again, bro. No mean to hate to the Jews, bro. I like them.
Yeah, same here.
So, in rise within the Nazi party from 1919 to 1921, he quickly became the party's main speaker and propagandist, of course. He changed the party's name to the National Socialist German Workers' Party, NSDAP, also known as the Nazi Party. Designed the party's emblem, the swastika. See, do you know why he took the logo from Indian mythology?
Because it's a symbol of auspiciousness.
Yeah, it's a symbol of peace and victory.
Yeah. But I think there's another name for it in Germany, the Heichensberg, something like that.
Maybe, I don't know. I have not read about the logo, bro.
Wait, I'm
I
gonna
had no
search
idea
it.
this was thing. Just check, bro. We want our viewers to get the most insightful information, the best of the best.
Okay, the Hakenskrook.
They
Hakenskrook.
just tilted the swastika a bit and named it the Hakenskrug. Iconic, bro. Iconic moment, bro. So he formed the SA or brown shirts, a paramilitary force used for intimidation. So Hitler basically thought that he could intimidate his oppositions into quitting, and he would become the dominant party. His party would become. By 1921, Hitler had become unquenchable leader in the Nazi party. So the people were so convinced of him, they would later declare him the chancellor, bro. See, in 1923, at the Munich Beer Hall, Hitler attempted an armed coup in Munich to overthrow the Bavarian government, inspired by Mussolini's march in Rome. The iconic to get it together, bro. The coup, but here gets the twist. The twist, bro. There's every plot twist in every
He
story.
gets
The
jailed, I
coup
think.
yeah, the coup failed. 16 Nazis were killed, 16, and Hitler was arrested. However, his trial brought him national attention. You know, there's a famous saying that at the trial, he did not speak about to defend him. He just spoke about Germany's greatness, and the judge was so convinced he reduced his sentence only like to 4 or 5 months. Could you just check on that?
Okay, I'm gonna check it. What was Hitler's sentence? Yes, only to he was sentenced to 5 years, but he was released by less than
Only 9 months, I think.
yeah, less than a
So you
year.
see, he was a political influence guy. He was a political influencing guy, bro.
Yeah, he had a lot of aura.
Yeah, aura farming, bro. Aura farming, bro. Can you just Photoshop Hitler's face on the aura farming kid?
I'll
Could the
do it. I'll
edition,
do it.
bro, do it and paste it right here, bro.
Yes, I will.
So in prison, he wrote the Man Camp, or I am pronouncing it right. It's spelled MEINKMPF. I don't know German, bro. I don't speak very well, bro.
Same here.
So yeah, so laying out his public political ideology. So I think it was basically a book that he wrote in prison. Oh, and also he enjoyed his time in prison, bro. He was like he got a lot of peace from all that political chaos out there going in Germany. So he avoided the extremist nationalism, Aryan racial superiority, anti-Semitism, hatred of communism. There you go, hatred of communism, bro.
Yeah.
Expansion of German territory. This was the point he thought of getting into war with France.
Oh,
Can
nice.
you, yeah, can you explain to the viewers or check what is Semitism? I don't know the exact meaning to tell, to just check on that, bro.
Even I'm gonna search the exact meaning.
Yeah, I don't know the exact meaning.
Oh, characteristics or ideas or features from the
Yeah.
Semitic people or language. It's like Hebrew, which is Israel's language, and
So,
Arabic.
so he was basically anti that.
Yeah, and that basically means anti-Jews.
Yeah. So he was recognized by recognizing the Nazi Party 1924 to 1929. After release, Hitler restrict, restructured the party like a disciplined organization. Bro, here we get into the complicated part. His mindset completely changed after getting out of prison. As a youth, you already know in middle school or high school, he hated discipline, bro. So how did he change this, bro? I cannot understand, bro. His ideology after getting released from prison completely changed, but not in a good way. I must say, he
It,
created the Hitler Youth, the SS. Bro, bro, that brings me flashbacks, bro. The SS, the propaganda department built the party as a national movement with branches all across Germany. During the mid 1920s, support stayed low because the economy was improving. See, so here where the Great Depression thingy begins in Nazi rise. So what happened basically? The Great Depression caused massive unemployment and poverty in Germany. So basically, millions lost faith in the Weimar Republic. Also, there's a famous tale that Hitler went to the president's house, threw some bombs, lit it on fire, and destroyed it.
and then he said the Jews did it, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Hitler used propaganda to blame Jews, communists, the Versailles Treaty, and weak politicians. He promised jobs, national pride, strong leadership, which he actually did, bro. In some kind of way, he provided jobs and national pride to everyone. What do you think, bro?
Yeah, he did good things from the for his country, but the methods were
Mm,
definitely wrong.
yeah. So by 1923, they became the largest party in Reichstag. So Hitler became chancellor on 30th January 1933. Although he lacked a majority, conservatives convinced the president Hindenburg to appoint Hitler as chancellor. So the chancellor and the president merged into one supreme body under Hitler command known as the Führer.
The Führer.
The Führer, bro. They believed they could control him. Yeah, there's a famous saying that this guy Hindenburg and one of his colleagues believed that they could control Hitler like a puppet, but something opposite happened to that. Okay, so let's get into turning Germany into a dictatorship. It happened during 1933 to 1934. In 1 year, he turned the entire nation, convinced everyone to join the dictatorship, bro. I salute to his diplomatic skills, bro. He was such a diplomatic person. So the Reichstag fire February 1933. The German parliament building burned. See, I told you before. Not the president of the German parliament building. Okay. Sorry. Sorry for my mistake. I thought it was the president's home, bro. Hitler blamed the communists and used the event to suspend civil rights, arrest political opponents, silence anti-Nazi parties. So he was kind of a great diplomat, bro. What do you think?
Uh, like in geopolitics, he wasn't that successful, but in internal politics, he was pretty nice.
See, if he came back to power today with the same mindset, what do you think would happen?
Israel, he would probably attack Israel and Russia.
Yeah, I also think so, but not Russia. I think that Russia is not an anti-communist and more like. See, I think I no hate to Vladimir Putin, bro. He's the my favorite guy, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Like
I
North Korea
think
and China are communists, so maybe Hitler would hate them.
yeah. So I think Russia is now kind of the dictatorship. Not dictatorship, it is still democratic. It does not support the Nazi propaganda of hating the Jews and all that. But when you see that all Putin's, opponents always get killed or jailed somehow, that is suspicious, bro.
Yup.
So he marched in March 1993. He gave the Enabling Act, gave Hitler power to pass laws without parliament, made his dictatorship legal. So yeah, this was the turning point when Hitler became the Führer. The Führer, bro, the Führer.
Yura.
Cannot do that salute, bro. Of course, I'm gonna get cancelled.
Same here.
You are gonna get cancelled, bro. That's why I do this, bro. The American way.
Yeah, because we're
So
wearing
yeah,
USA shirts.
yeah, USA, bro. Let's go, Team USA. So yeah. So he also suppressed his opposition. All political parties banned except the Nazis. Trade unions dissolved. The press, radio, and education system placed under Nazi control. So I think Hitler tried to manipulate the press, bro. He only wanted the people to be seen what is great as of him. You know.
Yeah.
So there was a night of the long lives in June 1934. This is the fun part, bro. Hitler ordered the killing of SA leaders and other rivals. There you go, man. He started his killings.
Oh
He also
no.
gained support in the German army. Now, my favorite part is 1934. Hitler became the Führer. President Hindenburg died in August 1934. Hitler merged the roles of Chancellor and President. I told you, declared himself as the Führer or the supreme leader. German army swore personal loyalty to him. Yeah, so he made every politician, every every bureaucratic guy to basically swear to be loyal to him. But I don't think that happened because of his deputy chancellor flying to Britain one day and calling, "Hey, I want peace from you, bro. I'm like done with it." So yeah, Hitler's political actions in power. So he did a lot of political actions from 1934 to 1945. So he built a, what do you call it? Totalitarian state. I think so. It is called that. Totalitarian, and I think it's called that. Could you check on that?
Yes, I wait. Uh, it means to take over public and private
Yeah,
use.
yeah, exactly. So he built a totalitarian state with complete censorship, secret police, Gestapo. Uh, This resembles communism, bro. Like, the communist gulag,
Yeah, and
the
like
gulag.
North Korea now.
Yeah, the gulag, bro. And he also built concentration camps. There you go, the gulags. They were very similar to the gulags, you know. He also implemented racist and anti-Jewish names. This was one of the Nuremberg laws in 1935. This would later turn out to be very bad for his political supporters, as the Great Republic of America, or the United States of America, the Hindenburg trials, bro. The Nuremberg trials, sorry. The Nuremberg trials, where all the remaining Nazi people were tried and sentenced to death
Oh yeah.
by the International Criminal Court. So he also pursued aggressive expansion. Occupied the Rhineland, Rhineland, annexed Austria. See, we don't get into Austria that much, but I'm going to do it in brief. So basically, what happened to Austria is that they decided to merge with Germany, because okay, like it was like this. So when Hitler was rising to power, Austria had an assassination of their leaders, Duke Frank or something like that he was called. So Czechoslovakia guy killed him out of rage or something like that. So they sent a bunch of unnecessary and unacceptable demands to the Czechoslovakian government, and they didn't. Of course, the Czechs would not do that, bro. Those demands were very unfair. So what? He asked the permission from Hitler, and he decided to attack the Czechoslovakia, bro. Worst mistake of Austria, because they got humiliated in the beginning of war. So Germany actually had to annex Austria to actually beat the Czechs.
Wait, that happened?
Yeah.
I thought that Germany just annexed Austria, nothing else.
No, so I think that is what people say, but it is also said that they were good chumps, bro, good chumps. So
Interesting.
during his rule, the Holocaust resulted in murder of millions of Jews and other groups. I also have a book on Holocaust. I don't want to. Shall I say the name? Do we get cancer, bro? Shall I say the name?
Sure.
Yeah, it is Mouse. You should totally go buy it. It is on Amazon. Great book about the Holocaust. It is basically a comic series, you know. So basically, he during his rule, he also caused the Holocaust. Yeah, millions of deaths of Jews. His political career ended when he did suicide, or that's allegedly he did suicide. I believe allegedly. On 30th April 1945, when Germany was losing the war. So yeah, that's basically his story in brief.
Yup.
So do you want to get into theories, or do you want to explain something else to the people?
Sure, yeah, let's get into the theories, but before that, let's just explain World War II in brief.
Yeah, why don't you go and explain the World War II to them,
Okay, so
please?
as Mr. Aadvik already said, that Germany annexed Austria. So after that, Hitler wanted the Sudetenland of Czechoslovakia because it was German speaking. So with a meeting with Britain, France, and also Mussolini of Italy, he was handed that over. But later, Hitler just took over the whole thing. Then Hitler signed a non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union, and they divided Poland. But Britain and France had enough, so they declared war on Germany. And then Britain did a naval blockade. I'm gonna show it on the map later on. So that's why Hitler had to invade Denmark and Norway to get the iron ores from Sweden.
See, sorry to interrupt you, but there was also a famous naval battle where Britain and Germany they put their most expensive battleships onto the sea and fought against each other. And they said because it was too expensive for, because lots of ships got damaged, their battleships, those were very expensive, so they got damaged, and they said no, will not do this again, bro. This is costing us a lot of money. Yeah, you may continue, bro.
Everyone knows after that Hitler invaded France through Belgium and Netherlands because France's border was heavily fortified. And then with using blitzkrieg tactics, Germany took over all of France. Then
So to the viewers who don't know what is blitzkrieg, it's basically, see, I have two pens. Take, okay. So one is here, and one is this pencil. So this is the enemy forces. You go surround them and corner them, and then you crush them. Simple as that, bro.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So after that, Hitler should have focused only on Britain, but he then started preparing to attack the USSR. But before that, Italy invaded Greece and lost. That's why Italy is known as one of the most worst players in the World War.
Yeah.
And then Hitler had to save Italy, and then they invaded USSR, and eventually they lost the war because of two guns with USSR and America.
So let's get into the theories.
Yeah.
The myths, the alleged myths. The alleged myths. So myth one is that Hitler he escaped to Argentina. This is the most widespread myth. So it is believed that Hitler fled Berlin by plane or submarine. He lived in Argentina with other Nazis. Some people even say he lived in Patagonia until old age. These myths exist due to some reason, of course. Many Nazis did escape to South America, you know. So, because this was the widespread of the myth, because many Nazis, of course, where they will go else, where they will get shelter. At that time, South America was kind of fragile due to the Cuba crisis, the Cuban Missile Crisis. So there was a lot of communist propaganda there. So he could have get easily got, protected by them. But in reality, there was no document, no plane record, no submarine evidence supports Hitler's escape. Soviet and Western intelligence confirmed his death in Berlin. Hitler was inside the bunker surrounded by the Red Army. Escape was impossible. See, here I want to tell you something that I personally believe. I think Hitler went to Argentina. He was found out by some people that did not like Hitler. They killed him, but not to raise suspicion from the CIA or the KGB. They buried him somewhere in the sea. What do you think on that? This is my personal theory.
That's interesting, but we don't have that much evidence for it, but it's a really good theory. That
See,
it is
but
possible.
if we go into that theory, my personal belief is that, bro. I don't care about your beliefs, bro. I personally believe that.
Okay, what do you think about Hitler going to the moon theory?
I don't know. See, he could have. He could have gone to the moon, but at that time, due to the technological advances, I don't think he fled to the moon. But there, my personal one more is there that what happened is that he actually hid in Soviet Union. So what the Red Army did, uh, they did like that. So if you surrender us and give us all your wealth and all that, and give your nation's pride or what not to us, we will save you and fake your death. So during the space race, I think they built a secret mission to send him to moon or like that. But that due to the technological advancements, I think it is impossible. Could you go on the second theory?
Yeah, which other theories can we make out of it?
Yeah, so there's one more. Hitler escaped through the secret tunnel. Hitler escaped through the secret tunnel, bro.
Yeah, could you elaborate on that?
So he claimed, there is claim, Hitler exited the bunker through underground tunnels and secret passages led to airports or rivers that led to it. In reality, the bunker tunnels were destroyed or blocked during the final battle. No tunnel led outside Soviet controlled areas. Eyewitnesses inside the bunker saw his car before it was burned. See, here's where my suspicion gets more, you know,
Yeah.
correct? Because if I think if the Soviets helped him, they would obviously block all the tunnels and bribe all the eyewitnesses to say something else. What do you think?
That's also a possibility. But I
So
think the Argentina one is more plausible.
there's another famous one that Hitler lived in Antarctica. So
But I
Nazis
don't think
during
that's possible because there's no food in Antarctica for him.
see um, during between when the it was about to collapse, then Hitler knew that his Nazi regime is about to collapse. So what he did, he sent out expeditions to Antarctica. So there he built a secret base, and he escaped through a submarine. Okay, but there is zero evidence no submarine could reach Antarctic waters in 1945. Nazi Antarctic bases were scientific, not military, and abandoned early. But my question, I like this theory, bro, because Hitler was close, even before the Americans, to building the atomic bomb.
Yeah. I think
So
that the Americans and the Soviets took some of Hitler's knowledge of the nuclear bomb, and only that's why they
yeah,
made it.
so here we get into your theory. I will elaborate your theory.
Okay.
So basically, Hitler knew about that nuclear thingy. Okay, so in exchange to fake his death and save him from the Nuremberg trials, he told everything to the Americans and Soviets, and they said, "Okay, we're gonna fake your death. You're going to flee to Argentina and live your rest of the life there." What do you think on that?
Yeah, there's so many possibilities.
Yeah, there's also one that Hitler became a monk
Okay, I don't think that's possible.
or a farmer or an old man.
Yeah.
So this theory basically says he became a monk and a farmer. He lived in Spain as an old man, became a monk in a monastery, hid in the Alps or small European towns, lived in Indonesia under a fake name, and worked as a farmer in Brazil. Okay, here we get into your myth, bro. Here we get into your myth. The CIA or the USSR helped him escape. So the claim is that the CIA and the KGB kept Hitler alive for intelligence. They protected him for prosecution, but I don't think they do so much for the Nuremberg trials.
Yeah.
And the Nuremberg trials were actually recorded, so there's no video evidence of him being there. So my personal theory is that this happened, but they helped him fake his death in exchange for that atomic research.
That's actually possible.
Yeah, but in truth, Hitler died on 30th April 1945. He first took his dog's life, then his wife's life, and then his own life,
Yep.
and told his secretary before dying to burn him because he knew that if the Soviets found his body, they would hang it on a stick and march it in the center of Moscow.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, that basically happened to him. Any last conclusion statements you want to give?
Okay, so my views on Hitler. He was a really good patriotic leader. He was really great for his own country. His own country, Germany. He wanted Germany to be great again. Like right now, what? Okay, not like what's Trump's doing, but it's a good example. Like MAGA, MGGA, make Germany great again. So,
Yeah,
but he was also cruel in his methods of like killing the Jews,
true.
torturing them. I think they also did some scientific, unethical experiments with Jews in the Eastern Front.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is still a myth, bro. But there's no documentation of that.
yeah, and around
Of
six
course, they would
million.
not document such events, bro.
Of
They
course
would not
not.
document such events.
I think 6 million
They,
Jews died.
yeah, around that.
Yeah, so Hitler was really cruel and brutal, but he was great for his own country. What do you think about this?
See, he was a great guy, not to be mistaken. I like this idea of make Germany great again, not to be related to make America great again. Okay, that is a new thing. So he was basically a good guy. But dude, if he had not killed the Jews, I think he would have lived more.
Yeah.
If he was like, okay, no problem, we will live in equality
Yeah, I
with
also
each
think
other.
I think he also kicked out Albert Einstein, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, no, Albert Einstein actually fled because he was Jewish. He fled to America. So yeah. So which one of the theories you like the most about Hitler's death?
I
Which do
like
you support the most?
I think the nuclear one is the most plausible
Yeah, me
one,
too.
but the funniest one is the moon one.
Yeah. There's also an entire movie on that, bro.
Yeah.
So shall we conclude the video here?
Yeah, I think we should. It's been around 40 minutes.
Yeah. So I am out, guys.
So,
It was nice collabing with Shreyansh.
tha-
Support his channel. I love history.
thank you so much, Advik, for giving us some free time from your busy schedule.
Thank you, man.
You're a really
And
hardworking man. So thanks for all of your knowledge that you gave us today.
thank you, man. And salute to all my homies
Okay.
living.
So I'm gonna end with
Salute to the history homies. Salute to the history homies.
of course, salute to the history homies. Okay, so thanks for watching, everyone, and special thanks to our man Adwik. So thanks for watching.